Cheers. But BLs, we're allies here on the Colum Tyrrell Podcast. Shout out to Dylan Mulvaney. Shout out to all.
Happy Pride Month.
Yes. Oh, yeah. It's Gay History Month. Shout out to the gays. Shout out to the trans history is a lot shorter than gay history. It's more of a new thing.
I think so, although I'm sure you could, like, if you were reading the history books, there were trans back in the Roman Empire and things like that.
Were they? Well, that was a goof, like a bachelor party, though? Was that like when guys put on a dress? Like,
yeah, like no one was having the surgery done because they didn't have that technology.
Yeah, the original first guy to this.
But
they were castrating people.
Cross-dressing goes back for millennia, but yeah, being like full-on trans.
Surely the original clothing was actually just unisex, though. Surely, right?
Yeah, I feel like a toga is sort of unisex.
Yeah, toga, kilts, type of stuff.
Yeah.
So you've traveled all over the world, right?
Yes.
In your professional opinion, what is the worst race of people? What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Colum Tyrrell Podcast. Today's guest, Donton from Barstool Sports. You can hear in the background either a fire truck or the cops, obviously on their way to do good because they're always so busy. New York City, this is it's the city, the heart and soul of the city is just constant noise pollution. You'll hear them in the background. Today's guest, Donton, the official foreign correspondent of Barstool Sports. I guess a travel vlogger, whatever way you want to put it. He didn't put himself in a particular box. Great conversation. It was only an hour short. We were short. Unfortunately, with timing, we had to keep it relatively short. But in hindsight, I wish we went on for longer to really get into the ins and outs of traveling like that. Like, what a dream. Probably, most people in the world, in theory, not in reality, but in theory, they go, of all the jobs of all the world, you'd want to be like be paid to travel. And not only just like, you don't want to just go to dumps. You don't want to just go to Nashville or even just like maybe Paris. You want to go to like proper wilderness, crazy stuff. Go to Papua New Guinea, get like an axe thrown at you by some click tribe or whatever. Like, that's the real stuff. Go get diarrhea in Calcutta. That's the real bread and butter of traveling. So I had a lot of fun talking to Donton. Doesn't take his sunglasses off. I'm not sure if that is a regular thing. I meant to ask him if he was blind or whatnot, but I guess that's just like a look of his. As always, you can support this podcast. As always, you can support this podcast by heading off to patreon.com/Colum Tyrrell. Not only do you get this episode 5 days early, and unedited, so any of the curse words and things like that, or the really heavy discussion, they will be taken out because we lose monetization. Sorry, I thought this was America, but it's not. And we live in a fascist community, a fascist country. I'm joking. But not only do you get this episode 5 days early, you also get an extra episode every single week. So why not help grow the podcast? We appreciate your support. I'm on the road, by the way. My debut comedy special recorded by Gas Digital, July 12th. There are some tickets remaining for that. Me, Rich Voss, New York City. Come on out. Tickets are free, but you do have to pay a registration fee of $2. That's just to stop people from getting 100 tickets and not showing up. So do come out that July 12th, New York City. I'm on the road. I'm coming up to this weekend. If you're listening to this the day it comes out, I'll be in Montreal in Canada, June 23rd and 24th. Then I'm going to be in Rhode Island from June 29th through July 2nd, Providence and Block Island. Come on out to that. Then in July, I'll be at Plano, Texas, just outside of Dallas, July 13th through 16th. Then back to New York City for Midnight Circus, July 22nd. They're my upcoming dates. I'm also got Chicago, Boston, Houston, Philly, Vegas, San Francisco, San Diego, Denver, so many more dates. All of those are listed on my website, columtyrrell.com. All right. That's all I needed to say at the beginning of the podcast. Enjoy this episode. Make sure you follow the Wonton Don across social media. He posts clips every single week. He just climbed Mount Everest. So go check that out if you're interested in that type of stuff. All right. Thank you.
The probably least fun I had on a trip was when I went to Moscow in the middle of the winter. So I guess I'd say white people.
Oh, the white Russians are the worst?
Yeah, like, no, I wasn't like, no one attacked me or anything. I wasn't like robbed, but I had the least amount of fun. They weren't very friendly, I guess. Yeah, like not a lot of smiles.
Moscow Russians.
Yeah, there weren't a lot of smiles on the streets of Moscow.
And how much of Russia have you seen? Did you ever go to like the East Russia, like more?
No, that like was just
the Asia side of Russia.
The Asian side of Russia.
That interests me.
Siberia,
yeah, that interests me because right above Japan, there's like an island off Russia, but it's like I think it might have been Japanese at one point, but they would look more Asian and culturally they're more Asian. And I think they speak some sort of like a Japanese-y kind of language over there. But they speak Russian. Everything's in Russia, but you would think it's Japan. Mm-hmm. It's an interesting spot over there. That's the type of place I'd like to go visit.
Yeah.
That was weird.
I have been to Harbin, China, which is like really northern China, close to the border of Russia. Yeah. And the people up there look like a mix of Russian and Chinese.
Yeah. I used to work with a lot of those the hill countries guys, like the wrestling bears type of guys.
Okay,
you know, those like the Uzbekistans and all these guys. Yeah, they're very weird culturally too.
Yeah, I have been to Tajikistan. That's an awesome place.
Tajikistan.
Tajikistan.
Never even heard about it.
Yeah, most people haven't.
Unless there's a UFC fighter, I don't know it.
I mean, I'm sure they have a couple, but it borders Afghanistan. And I went there to watch the sport of buzkashi. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
It's like headless goat polo. It's
headless goat polo.
There's just like 50 to 100 people on horseback, and everybody's trying to drag a headless goat into the end zone. And there's no team, so it's just every man for himself.
How do they grab it?
They're on the horse and they reach down and they grab the tendons on its neck.
And it has no head?
No.
They cut off the head?
Yes. It has to be a headless goat.
Is there anything that prevents like all the guts from falling out?
No. I think they take out the guts. I would hope.
It's a gutless body of a goat. And they have to drag it over the line? Mm-hmm. Seems impractical.
And then they usually need 3 goats on standby because like in the just like chaos of the sport.
The goat falls apart.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow, that's phenomenal. Have you ever seen... I went to Thailand years ago and I would have... Now that I'm old, I would have likened to go to like a cockfight.
Oh, I've seen a lot of cockfights.
Oh, you have?
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Where'd you see that?
In the Philippines. It's huge in the Philippines.
And they give them little like knives on their feet, right? Mm-hmm. And were you ever worried? Because my problem was like in Thailand, if I was just like, yo, bring me to a cockfight, I feel like I would have been the only white person. They would have just been like, he's an easy mark right there.
No, actually, they were all like pumped I was there.
Yes.
Happy I was soaking up the culture.
Nice. And what, you got to put some bets down?
Yeah, I did place a few bets. I lost all of them.
Lost all, yeah. And you're betting like $5, but it's like what, 1 billion yen or whatever they use.
Yes,
whatever they use in Philippines.
Filipino peso, I think.
Peso, wow.
I think they use a peso. Not sure.
Yeah.
The Spanish got around. They really.
It's so fun. Yeah. After a while, you've done when you're traveling that much, and then you have to get new currencies. I don't do the currency exchange in my head. I always felt like that was too much of a. It would ruin my. I just pay whatever the thing is, you know. Mm-hmm. I hate going. Wait, what's that in dollars? How much is a Coke? And you're trying to figure it all out. I just go take whatever the thing is. Here's 1 million rubles or whatever you're using.
Yeah, and I mean it's nice when you're in a country that everything's really cheap. You just feel like you feel like the money's not real.
Yeah, you go, it's free. Yeah. I once heard of a guy, he was traveling around. They arrive at Bali. They just came from wherever. Someone had helped them with their bags into the thing, and he gives them a tip. He didn't know. He had just got money, and he hands them like 1,000, whatever. And it wasn't until he was in the car doing the exchange rate. He was like, I just gave that guy $200. This guy just like got a year's salary in by one mistake because the guy just like threw him the money and had not worked it out.
You do have to be careful. Yeah.
I'd never heard of you, and Sam Talent was on the show recently, and then I think he posted something about you on Instagram.
Yeah.
Sam Talent's a fan.
Yes.
Sam's the man. So then I was like, I need to follow this guy. I know a lot of the Barstool guys, but I just never come across your stuff.
Yeah, I wasn't working out of the New York office for a bit, but I moved to New York this past August.
Oh, nice.
I've been around. I saw you at the stand once.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
With the boys when all the Barstool boys were out, was it? Or no?
No, I think it was I was one of the only Barstool guys there that night, I think.
Okay.
But you performed, Julio performed, and Sass performed that night.
Okay, sick.
Yeah.
Nice. Good stuff.
So I vaguely knew of you.
And where did you come from?
I was living in Venice, Italy for a year.
Oh, really?
Yeah. My fiance got a teaching job out there.
Okay.
And I can kind of do my job remotely. So I was like, it would be pretty sick to live in Venice for a year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And it was sweet. I mean, I didn't have any friends in Venice, but just being in Europe and being able to kind of hop around the countries there was awesome.
Yeah. So when did you start? So what would you even describe what you do? You're the travel vlogger?
I mean, I call myself Barstool's foreign correspondent.
The foreign correspondent.
But
okay, great.
Yeah, if you break it down in layman's terms, I'm pretty much a travel vlogger.
And did you always? You've been traveling for a long time?
Well, right after college, my friend convinced me to move to China and just teach for a year.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what I wanted to do at that point. And I was like, well, if I take a job in China, when I have time off, I can travel to Thailand and, explore around Asia a bit. So I decided to do that. And it was only supposed to be for 10 months. But then I made some friends there and found some other opportunities and ended up staying for about 8 years.
Oh, wow. And just in China?
Yeah.
And then you just visited all around the visiting place? Yeah.
I did some traveling, but my home base was Shanghai, China.
Wow.
Which it was a lot of fun. Like my first 5 years there, the nightlife was,
I'm sure,
unmatched.
And were you able to were you almost like a cool guy because you're like this big gringo?
Yes, but there's
whatever the Chinese version of gringo is. That's you.
Yeah. So the Chinese version of gringo is a Laowai.
A Laowai?
A Laowai. Yeah.
Laowai?
A Laowai.
Is that wide eyes? What's that mean?
No, I mean I think they
Is that like?
They do have some term that means foreign devil or that means like white devil.
Of course.
But Laowai,
savior.
I don't think Laowai is a slur, but that's just what they.
Wide-eyed. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I've never been able to find, and I've wanted to hear someone that doesn't speak English do an impression of what English sounds like. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Because you can do you'll see a white guy do the whole.
You can do an Asian like you can pretend to even Russian. You can go like or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
I've never heard a Chinese person be like yum 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 or whatever they do as an impression of us.
Yeah, I mean, I've only seen people from the UK do impressions of Americans, and they're always like, "What's up, dude?
Hamburger.
How's it going, dude?
Totally awesome."
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. But I want to hear a Chinese guy be like who cannot speak English do an impression of what we sound like to them. Because you can go bing bong ding dong all day for them. Yep. I want to hear them go yum 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 whatever way they hear us.
Yeah. Hardy hard.
Yeah. Hardy yum hard yar. And then we have to go, no, that's offensive. They lose their job.
Yeah, I do have one Chinese friend who barely speaks English. So actually, I don't think he speaks a word of English. So
great.
I'll have to ask him.
Just get him to send in the video of just do an impression of English for us.
Okay.
I would love that. That would be my favorite thing in the world. So you're in China. You were there for 8 years.
Yes. And now I started making vids while I was out there just for fun. And Barstool shared a few of them. And it was always like a dream to work for them.
Yeah.
Because then I could just be making content full time. And it wasn't until I was probably making vids on my own for a good 5 years before when they moved to New York and started to grow a bit and were looking to hire new people. I did the Barstool Idol competition.
Yeah. Did you win it?
No. So
Competing against someone?
I showed up and they were just like, "Oh, you're that Donnie guy who makes vids in China. Oh, okay. Yeah, you don't have to do this whole competition. You can just have a job." Because they had already seen my content and had already shared 4 of my videos.
This competition is for Francis Ellis and some other squares.
Yeah, it was the same year that Francis Ellis won the competition. So if they made me do it, it would have been me going up against Francis.
Francis is like the double champ. They hired him twice.
Yes,
you know, he's like the way Ali won the belt back. You know, no one's been hired by Barstool twice.
I compared it to Steve Jobs a bit because Steve Jobs was fired by Apple at one point.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying Francis is going to come back and now become the CEO of Barstool, but who knows?
Yeah.
So yeah, when
Maybe.
I eventually got that job for Barstool and then decided to stay in China making videos for them up until the pandemic, really.
So you were in China the whole time? And the whole time you're just jumping around?
Yeah,
places?
I would try to come back to New York for a few months over the summer. Just
And was that your first experience of traveling? Was China? Like real travel? Or did you experience stuff when you were young and then you have the bug that way, or what?
yeah, I guess I did some traveling when I was young. More like I went to Belize and Guatemala. It was actually in college. I went abroad to Botswana.
Botswana.
Yeah.
Okay, I have no idea about that.
So that
South America, Middle America, Central America? Where is it?
it's Southern Africa.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, Botswana.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Cut that out. Edit that out.
No, that's fine.
Oh, Southern Africa.
Yes.
Yeah, so you went there during college with your boys, was it?
Yeah, I was not with my boys. It was actually at the time I was like, this kind of sucks because all my friends had gone abroad to Barcelona, Australia, and we're just like raging. And then I was with like a group of 10 students in Botswana where like the electricity of the town would just completely shut off after midnight.
Wow. That kind of feels nice now.
Yeah.
At the time, it's like whatever, but now it's like, oh, I'd love for a little bit of an apocalypse type of thing.
Yeah.
It'd be pretty sick.
And we had to do homestays for like a week in a village there. And this was like a really rural village. And my friend's homestay family was just a 22-year-old pothead. So I would just be like, oh, I'm going to hang out with my friend. And I would go over to his homestay hut and we would just smoke pot with this guy and play cards.
Hell yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
Well, about the China thing. Is there anything do you notice there's a perception of, I've never been to China, but do you think, it's probably such a big, diverse place, it's hard to even categorize, right? But do you think there's like a public perception of what China is and the reality is completely different? Also, how does communism work? Does everyone get paid the same? What's going on?
No, so China.
So were you like a millionaire? Were you getting the same as a CEO of a company? The CEO of TikTok and you were teaching English in a foreign language get paid the same?
No, I don't think you can really call China communist anymore. Apparently, it is like that in Cuba. Like, yeah, like my parents went to Cuba and they said that taxi drivers get paid the same as doctors there.
That's bullshit.
But
that is fucking.
Yeah.
I refuse to allow taxi drivers to earn a living wage. They are the worst. That is any child. This is my problem. This is international. Taxi drivers are always wanting more money. You go, a fucking 10-year-old can do your job. You're a fucking glorified tuk-tuk guy. Shut the fuck up. It should be the lowest form of job.
But I guess Cuba's now known for having really good doctors because they're not like becoming a doctor for the money. They're just doing it for the love of the game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they're really dedicated to their craft. But that's not the case in China. China's like the least communistic country on earth. But they call themselves it's socialism with capitalistic characteristics, or no, capitalistic with communist characteristics or socialist character. That's how they describe themselves. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Yeah, it's a very materialistic place these days. You know, you see all the Gucci Prada stores.
Yeah.
So yeah, it did not feel like communism. But then I guess if you are Chinese, it feels like communism in the sense that you have no say really in the government and kind of like what they say.
Oh yeah,
goes.
Because we got a lot of choices here.
Yeah, but it's kind of like
maybe we're the communists.
The government could be like, "Hey, we're going to tear down your house and build a road here." In the U.S., they wouldn't be allowed to do that. You could protest it. They could try to offer you a lot of money, but in China, they're just like, "No, we are going to do this."
And no royalty over there.
No royalty anymore.
No,
they got rid of that.
They got fucking axed, did they?
Yeah.
Kill them.
I think so.
That'd be fun now. I'd love to see an overthrow if they overthrew the British
Empire.
I mean, like a proper, like some guy and his friends came in on horseback and like fucking lynched them in the fucking courtyard. Like that would be like a fun.
Yeah, like what they did to the Russian royal family. I think they just
that was their cousins. They hung up on them.
Shot them all in a room. Or
yeah,
something?
well,
I don't know.
Did you hear about that? Yeah, that's what they did with all the empires. Really, they just killed them all after World War I. They were like, "Yo, fuck these guys."
Yeah, or the French Revolution. They put them in the guillotine.
But the British Empire, they just happened to be in charge during a more civilized period.
Yeah.
So they just got lucky.
Yeah.
And that was their cousin. The Russian guy was their cousin. And they were like, oh, we're getting overthrown. Can we come to England? And then the British Empire were like, nah. They just said, tell him I'm not home. And then that was his cousin that got murdered. And the whole family got us.
Yeah, that was wild. In World War I, the Kaiser of Germany, the Tsar of Russia, and the King of England were all cousins.
And they looked identical. Yeah. Well, they're all related. Right? Wasn't Queen Victoria was the one who sent out all the kids to just take over different regions, I think. As far as I remember. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, so there was no... Because it was... When I went, like I said, I went to... So when I was younger, I traveled. When I was like 20, we went to Thailand, Laos, Vietnam. That was a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
When you were in Laos, did you go to Vang Vienne?
Yes. Yeah, we did the tubing.
You did the tubing? Holy
but it was
shit.
The tubing at the time, it was... I think it was kind of on its way out.
Yeah.
As far as I know, now it's completely different too. But when we there had just been a hurricane or something, so a lot of the stuff had been wiped away, and people were dying a lot.
Yeah. So there was like 3 Australian dudes died like in one day there.
Of course.
And then they're like, all right, we need to shut this down.
It's good though. That's fun. That's like.
I mean, I came very, very close to dying there.
Oh yeah. Me too. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, of course. And it's like what a great story.
Yeah. It's one of my best.
I think every night should end with at least one person dying.
Yeah.
Kind of like 1 in 10 is a fair result. And is it worth it to leave your house?
I mean, it was worth it for the story for me because I survived. I'm here now.
Got the vlog about it.
Yeah. No, so this was before I was vlogging. I wish I had some of this on camera.
Oh, so let's just explain what. So Dang Piang, what was the name of it?
Vang Vienne.
Vang Vienne.
It's this like river, this little creek in the middle of.
It's this tiny little village and it's surrounded by mountains.
Beautiful mountains.
Amazing. Yeah. And this tiny little, like just dirty village. And they all of the restaurants there, they have like futons for you to lie down on.
And they sell drugs.
They sell drugs. I don't remember doing any drugs, but what do they sell? Mushrooms and stuff or what?
Yeah. So I walked into a place there and they brought out a menu and it's like, do you want a joint of opium, a joint of weed? Do you want a shroom pizza? Do you want a weed pizza?
Yeah.
And then accidentally, this drug was not on the menu, but a guy on the street was offering me yaba, and I had no idea what yaba was.
Oh, I've still.
But I was like, it sounds exotic. Like maybe I should try it, you know? So I took it, and then maybe half hour later.
What type of form is it? Was it a liquid?
It was. This was in the shape of. It looked like a homemade purple pill. Yeah.
A homemade pill?
A homemade pill.
Just dust. It's just been a powder that's been crammed together.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, nice. I'm taking that. Make no mistake about it.
Yeah, well, I thought like yaba sounds harmless.
If a little Asian boy offers me yaba, I'm dropping that.
Yeah, and my heart started beating out of its chest.
Nice.
I realized I was like walking like extremely fast for no reason. And then I talked to this Australian dude and I was like, dude, do you have any idea what yaba is? Because I'm fucking amped up right now. And he was like, oh, mate, that's just another word for crystal meth.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And
a little bit of yabba dabba doo.
Yeah, exactly.
Hell yeah.
I didn't sleep for the next 48 hours. Like at some point I lost my flip-flops. And I guess on crystal meth, you just can't feel pain. So I didn't even realize it. And then when I finally like sobered up, I realized the bottoms of my feet were just shredded up.
Oh, no. And you've just been walking around, pacing around like a little meth head?
Yes. Dude, it's a horrible drug. Don't do meth, kids.
I remember, the restaurants there, they all sell chicken cutlet sandwiches, which I guess is French because the French took over Laos.
Or it's like schnitzel.
Did they have the schnitzel too? And I remember they all just showed reruns of Friends. Every single show was just Friends. Every single restaurant was just showing Friends all day. If I remember.
Yeah.
And so as far as I know with the history of that place was that people were just backpacking through Laos. Laos is a tiny little country beside Thailand in between Cambodia, maybe Vietnam and Thailand, right? Yeah. And there was these people were just backpacking through this like pretty third worldy kind of dumpy place, but it's obviously fun. And then they were staying in a hostel and the owner of the hostel was like, we've got the tubes which had from inside of like of truck tires.
Yeah.
Or like tractor tires. And they were like, do you want to go in the river with them? So then they just like, they went to the river and they floated down the river in these tubes. And then they were like, they realized it was like a fun activity. So they built like a bar at the beginning and a bar at the end. And you would float down And then slowly they turned the whole river into just more bars. So you would just, at the beginning you would start and then you would just float from bar to bar to bar all the way down the river.
Yes. And a lot of the bars would have like water slides, rope swings.
Yes.
Trampolines.
Yes. And there was DJs at they have the buckets.
Yeah.
Do you know Ari Shafir?
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't,
so I met him at the Barstool office once very briefly.
Yeah. Okay.
But we don't actually know each other.
Yeah. Okay.
But I think he performed in Shanghai while I was out there.
Ari's done a lot of traveling. Yeah. And then, but Ari would be a good guy for you to talk to. But so you float down, you have these buckets where it's like, whiskey, Red Bull, Coke, and in like literally like a little sand bucket, and you're drinking out of it and you're getting wasted. When I was there, no one ever got to the end of the bars, because what happens is you stop at the first like 3 stops, and then by that time you're so fucked up that it's like so what you do is you rent these tubes, and then you start at the first one and you float to the thing, and there's these kids and they've got water bottles, like a liter water bottle, and it's on a rope, and while you're floating they go like a fucking cowboy, and it goes through the air and it lands right on your fucking dick, and they pull you right in. It was incredible.
Yeah.
These little Asian kids, because that's their life, they aim on these guys because they time it. You're floating. They timing it perfect. It was just and you'd see it all like once, like there's 4 of them would go into the air and they're like fucking it was sick. What a time. You're 20 years old getting fucking pink eye. Everyone get pink eye because the river's dirty.
Pink eye. And
everyone has pink eye. You're wearing your stupid little vest and you're like listening to dubstep while wasted on buckets.
I almost got a broken neck though too, because they had a trampoline that was in the water and then a safety net around the trampoline, and I was jumping up and down. I think I may have been on shrooms at the time, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna free willy it." So I was like, "I'm gonna jump really high, go over the safety net, dive in the river." So I barely made it over the net, and then just fell directly down into the water. The water was like 2 feet deep.
No,
and luckily I didn't land directly on my head, more like on my neck and back, but I was so banged up.
But for fucking 2 seconds, you were the coolest guy on earth.
I don't even know if I looked that cool, because I barely made it over. I kind of hit the net.
Did you bounce and do the spin?
I kind of hit the net and then just flipped over. And dude, I was scared. Like I crawled up out of there, and I thought I almost died, or I thought I was dead and had gone to heaven just looking around, because the place truly. It's paradise, but
it's a little Lord of the Fliesy, because I had 2 incidents there. One of them was you would jump off it and they had this big floating, like a pillow, massive big floating pillow. You would jump onto that and you bounce it, and whatever way I jumped in, I fell off it, but it moved above me, and then I came back up then, and I was like underneath it, and I was trapped, and then I had to just swim as far. I swam way too far because I was scared of dying. Everyone thought I was gone because I was just gone for 10 seconds. And they're like, I don't think he's coming back. Now, another time, I broke a rib, or at least I cracked a rib or something. We were towards the end of the river, and they have a fucking slide. You go down and go up. And me and my friend are on top. And then there's a guy, there was a guy kind of in charge a little bit. And the 2 of us were about to going down at the same time. And he's like, no. And I said, fuck it, let's go. We both fell down this slide at the same time, and then while we're in the air, I kind of fell under him, and so when I hit the water, my friend landed on top of me. His knee went right into my rib, so I didn't get out of. I stayed in the river for an hour, just sitting there, in too much pain to leave. And then for weeks, then for the rest of the trip, I was like, I couldn't like laugh or anything. I remember one time I couldn't step down off the curb on the side of the road because I was in so much pain. I was like, I remember trying to get down, and I was like, I had to walk all the way down because I could only move like. But it's fun.
Yes.
Losing your life needs to be it makes things better.
Yeah.
It would make every night better, I think. If we just had this random thing of like, oh, do you want to go for beers and watch the game? You go, by the way, one of us will be shot in the head at the end of the night. You go, all right, let's go, but we got to make sure it's a good night. You're not going to have a shit night. One of you is going to get a brick to the face. Yeah, right?
Yeah, that's very true.
A little bit of debt.
I mean, yeah, or at least someone should get seriously injured.
Permanently maimed.
Yeah.
Yes, scarred.
Yeah, at least,
I like it. Yeah, some acid in the face or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, you're better. Yeah, you're right. No need to kill them. Just permanently scarred.
That would add some excitement for sure.
All right. So how often are you traveling? Do you have a whole year mapped out ahead of you?
Not always.
Are they asking you to go places and stuff? Like, do Barstool like, yo, get the fuck to Nebraska?
No. I usually choose the trips and like, I don't know, I'll try to do at least like 3 a year.
Yeah.
And I'll usually travel for like 7 days to 3 weeks. I was just in Nepal for a solid 3 weeks. Then I'll try to make that into 7 to 10 videos.
How was the food out there in Nepal? Spicy, is it?
Yeah, a little spicy. They make some great dumplings, which are called momos.
Oh yeah, momos.
Momos, yeah.
Sounds like a slur again for white guys.
Yeah.
These fucking momos.
These fucking momos. Yeah. So that was probably my favorite food I had out there.
I went to, there's a place, I think it was Nepal, because there's a community out in Queens of Nepalians. Yeah.
There are.
Nepal, and then the other place beside it, I can never remember the name of it. Nepal and
Bangladesh?
No.
Tibet?
Tibet, yeah. Nepal and Tibet, yeah. They're all like...
Those are the two like mountain countries.
Yeah, and then there's a community, yeah. So there's an old pool hall, snooker hall in Queens that they turned into a restaurant. They bought the snooker hall, these Nepalians, and they just put tablecloths over the snooker tables, like the pool tables. So you go and eat at this little place. It's like someone's kitchen, and you're just eating on a pool table.
And are they serving Nepalese food?
They're serving Nepalese food, and I went with this girl, and she was. I would go, just give me the regular spice. I go, give me the low spice, and then she went into the kitchen and was like, give him white guy spice, because she was like, and it was still pretty spicy. She was like, regular. It was gonna blow the fucking ass right off me.
Now, is snooker the same thing as pool?
Different rules.
Okay,
but it's similar. Balls on a table.
Is it a larger table?
It is a larger table. Yes.
All right.
Larger. Much more of a more skilled game. It's like a patient game. A lot of like tactics and stuff with snooker.
Because I walked into a snooker hall while I was in Nepal, and they were playing on these huge tables, but they were playing with all red balls.
Yeah, that's snooker. Yeah. Snooker.
So how do you play if all the balls are red?
It's a point system. So you're both shooting for the same thing. So then
and you just see who can get the most in?
So yeah, you just add up the score. So you pot a red ball, which is like 1 point, and then you pot a colored ball, which is like, it depends on which color.
Okay.
The black is or is it pink? I think black's one of them, the points anyway. There's a point system. Okay. And then you add it up, and then as soon as you miss, then the other guys go, and then he adds up their scores. Okay. But it's a much more slow-paced, skilled game. It can be pretty fucking boring, to be honest. To play, I don't know how anyone could get into it, because the patience you need to get into it is wild.
Speaking of a fast-paced sport from the UK and Ireland, actually not from the UK, only from Ireland, hurling.
Yeah.
I had a chance to watch that live.
Hurling's the best.
Yeah.
We got to do a hurling day out, man.
Yes. So they play in the Bronx. It's that part of there's a part of the Bronx that's super Irish.
Woodlawn.
Yeah.
Woodlawn is where all the Irish are. Yeah. And there's amateur hurling all over the world.
Okay.
And then they'll have big showcases too, like where the best players from Ireland will come over and they'll play in City Field and stuff like that. They'll have like a special day out. But hurling, I think, is the best sport in the world.
Yeah, I think it's probably one of the most like skilled sports in the world.
Yes, it's incredible.
Because like we play lacrosse in America, but that like at the end of the stick you have a large net that can hold the ball. With hurling, you just have like a wooden spoon.
Yeah,
that you just kind of have to balance the ball on. Yeah, and then to pass it, you got to throw it up and hit it like a baseball bat.
Yeah, it's like it's just like lacrosse with a bat. Yeah,
yeah.
And the rules are crazy. The problem is it's so fast. It's like kind of a hockey thing where it's like you kind of lose a bit of the magic when you're watching it on TV. Yeah. Like hurling, you got to go out and watch it, and it's physical too. They'd be they're tough guys, tough cunts. They'd be like breaking their fingers and stuff, and just like fucking play on. And
yeah, they used to not even wear gloves. I think now most players do.
I don't know if they wear the gloves still, but they definitely they only brought in helmets, but mandatory. When I was younger, there was you didn't have to wear helmets, and then they were like too many people were like losing their eye and shit. So they're like, all right, let's bring in the helmets.
And like the goalie too, it must be a psychopath because those balls are coming in fast. I don't even know if he's wearing a cup.
No, there's no such thing as cups at all. Gay as hell.
Yeah.
So, no, but I don't think even that's the worst part. The ball hitting you, because anyone can get smacked at the ball faster. The schlitter, they call it.
Yeah,
the schlitter.
That sounds like a slur.
Schlitter. Yeah. I hardly know her. Yeah, so that's fun. I'd recommend doing that. So what else have you seen then over the world? You've obviously checking out. You're encouraged to really, when you travel, you got to really travel. You're not just going to go to the beach. You want to go, all right, what's the local
Yes.
donkey show or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Have you
exactly. I've not seen a donkey show.
I think that's more myth than reality, is it?
I think it happens. I mean, I did see one ping pong show in Thailand.
Yeah, of course.
I wasn't really a fan though. It was pretty disturbing.
It's all crazy. But like the little 12-year-old boys who can fucking throw a water bottle from 40 yards and catch it. They're like fucking Tom Brady, those guys.
Yeah.
But like these ping pong girls are skilled, man. They'll give you a black eye from 40 yards away.
Yeah. They were shooting out darts and you
chip it too.
Popping balloons all over the room. But
sex work is real work.
Yeah. But then there was this one girl came out and she smoked a cigarette with her vagina and like smoked it.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 pussy puffs. And then like chugged a ball of water poured a ball of water down her vagina, and then the water all came out black. I think she was just like washing off the ash and tar from the cigarette. That was like, that was
my
like
gosh,
inside.
her pussy coughed up like some phlegm, like a smoker. Just a clot came up and oh my God.
So that was traumatizing.
I remember when I went to Amsterdam. I think it was Amsterdam, right? And we went to a sex show. But again, these sex shows are like fun because you're with a bunch of guys. It's like a bachelor vibe, you know?
Yeah.
Bachelor party vibe. And you're there and then you're watching all these guys. But then when it comes to the actual sex show, it's because you see them like the guy has this big dick. That's like, it's kind of hard, but it's like hard enough that he fucking could stick it in her because it's just so big. And he's like, just like, and she's like fucking looking at her watch, and then every 2 minutes there's like a horn goes off or something, and they change position, and you're just watching these two people, and at the first you're all like, hey, and then after a while you're kind of just like, this sucks. This is weird. I'm just watching these guys. They're not actually fucking, because you can see the guy's like he's just 6 or 7 shows a night. He's just splinting his fucking semi-massive cock into her, this girl. But I was there once. I'm pretty sure it was Amsterdam, or maybe it was Thailand. But the girl, she got me on stage. She took my shirt off, and then she put me on the ground and started like rubbing her fucking pussy all over my chest.
Yeah.
And then she stood up, and then I realized she had a Sharpie up her cunt, and she had written across my body, "Sexy boy," across it. And like they showed the crowd, and the crowd went, "Oh!" Yeah, it was quite a magic trick, quite a party trick. I tried to do it. Yeah. Shove a Sharpie up my ass, but no one let me. You got to practice.
I don't think my butt writing would.
You got to work on your
good.
cursive, yeah, for sure. Yeah, but that's the type of stuff. But again, there's loads of stuff in Thailand. The ping pongs are one thing. The darts are another thing. I heard once of people having like a dove up there. They'll open up their leg and a dove goes. Because but it's kind of sad because they got to have like they have to have a thing where they take out their pussy.
Like a prolapsed vagina?
They got it, like they removed whatever in your pussy and they replaced it with a little bird cage for a dove.
I mean,
sex work is real work, folks.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So you saw the donkey shows in Mexico, I think, are a myth, but I'm sure you're probably more likely to get someone to fuck a donkey on Wall Street. Just come with those broken stockbrokers.
Yeah, I think you're more likely to find someone to fuck a donkey than find someone who will let a donkey fuck them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You've got to be
pretty
poor
painful
to be fucking a donkey.
No, I mean like
you got to be in need.
Fucking a donkey, it wouldn't be too hard. You just put it in, but getting fucked by a donkey.
I fucked some pigs tough. In my day.
Yeah.
But getting fucked by a donkey
that'll probably kill you.
That'll change your life. Yeah, Mr. Hands, right?
Yeah.
Yikes. He died doing what he loved, getting plowed by an animal with a massive cock. Yeah. So what else have you seen then in terms of sports? Is there anything else? You saw the cockfights. You lost all your money on that.
I feel like I've seen. I saw Calcio Storico that they play once a year in Florence. Have you? You may have seen clips of it.
I know. It's like they just fight in the middle of a stadium, isn't it?
They beat the shit out of each other, but there's a ball involved, and it's kind of like you gotta throw the ball into this goal that they have. But in the meantime, you're allowed to punch the other opponents. You're allowed to kick them. You're allowed to choke them. You're allowed to tackle them. And I mean, it was hyped up a lot for me. But when I saw it live, like it was one of the craziest things I've seen.
Incredible.
Yeah, like
That's like one of those old sports from gladiator days, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm surprised
I think
they release a lion at some point.
it definitely dates back to at least the 1400s.
Do you think they played that in the Colosseum, or is that like way off in terms of dates?
I don't think so. They trace it back to the 1500s, but they probably did something similar.
Wow.
I mean, I went down on the field after and like, because they just play like in their town square, which is cool. And all the teams are based on the like 6 or 7 different hoods of Florence.
Yeah.
So the teams, and you can like, so all these kids have known each other their whole lives. They've grown up together. And yeah, when I walked down to the field, like people were banged up afterwards, like severely concussed.
Yeah.
They do not have a concussion protocol there.
Nice. That would be, yeah, that's great. You got to see that. What about did you ever, the tomato fights?
I've heard about those in Spain. No,
Is it Spain? I think they also have it in Argentina. I think there's a Spanish.
That would make sense that they have it in Argentina.
I think what happened was, maybe I'm wrong about this. Google this there, Dave. But I'm pretty sure they have this a custom where they all throw tomatoes. They fill the streets in some little village. And then there was like someone in Argentina who were like, oh, we should just also do that. I think they just like lifted it. Like, it's not like traditional.
Well,
it was like 1978. They were like, oh, that looks like fun. Let's just do that.
Yeah, and they were like, well, we're Spanish too, so why can't we throw tomatoes?
Yeah, maybe there was someone moved over and was like, I really miss the tomatoes.
Yeah.
That's something you'd want to go see. That would be kind of nuts.
Yeah.
Problem is you can't bring a phone with you. It's going to get covered in fucking tomato.
I feel like phones these days can handle
They can handle
juice.
a bit of ketchup? Yeah. That would be sick. That would be good to go see. What about the running with the bulls? Have you done that?
The run of the bulls, I remember we proposed that once, but then Portnoy, my boss, huge animal guy. He's definitely more of an animal guy than he is a people person. And
like he's pro-animal?
Yeah.
He thought it was inhumane?
Yeah, he was like, don't they like murder all the bulls after that? Which I think they do, or at least have done historically. And so I don't think he was super pumped up about it, but I mean, I'm sure I could just go do it.
Yeah, meanwhile he's fucking at Peter Luger's for lunch. You fucking stuffing these cows in his fucking face.
Yeah.
Peter, fuck you, Dave Portnoy. We got to spill here. We don't like you. Don said you suck. Don said you suck, Dave.
That is not true.
That's a scoop. We got a scoop.
He's a fan of bulls. He's a big bull rights guy.
Yeah, no, that's fair. So what is there anything then? What do you have? Do you have anything lined up now for the rest of the year? Or where are you right now?
So I'm actually, the next time I'll be traveling overseas is heading to Ireland to get married. Whoa. Yeah. Oh shit. Let's go.
Crowd like that one.
And so
is your girl Irish?
So her entire mom's side of the family was born and raised in Tipperary.
Yeah. Cool.
And so she still has a lot of aunts and uncles and cousins there, and spent a lot of her summers there. So
nice.
Really wanted to get married in Ireland. I don't really have a strong connection there, but I'm excited.
Hell yeah. That's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Have you been?
I went once, yes.
When was that?
This was probably 3 years ago.
Okay. Yeah, fun.
So what's the crack?
What's the crack? What is the crack?
What should we do? It was actually the last time I was there, I was walking up to people on the street and I was just being like, where can I find some crack? And then they would be like, oh, yeah, I think there's really good crack at the bar around the corner. And I was like, all right, so how much do they charge? Like, are they like, what's the cost? And then they were getting awkward and being like, I think you have the wrong type of crack. But are you from the Dublin area?
I'm from Dublin, yeah. North side of Dublin. Shout out up the Dubs.
We'll be there.
Yeah.
And get married in Meath, which is very
Mead.
close by.
I know it's that. Yeah, that's how you'd pronounce it. Mead.
Okay.
Meath.
I'm a little worried because Ireland doesn't have Uber, which
doesn't it? It has some bullshit. It definitely has apps for taxis.
Yeah, it has an app where you can...
Uber might not be that popular, but there's like loads of different apps. You'll be fine.
Okay.
Also, you get regular taxis. There's taxis everywhere.
Yeah, but when we're out in
Don't tip them, though. They don't deserve fuck all taxi drivers.
Okay.
Very hard stance. We're anti-taxi drivers here.
If you're coming to the wedding, don't worry about tips. I didn't have to worry about tips for a while because living in China, they don't tip.
Oh, going home
living in Italy,
Ireland.
they don't tip. I mean, it's nice just knowing, once the transaction's over, like, all right.
Yeah, and there's no tax then. Like, it's all included in the price.
Yeah.
You're not getting just add-ons. Yeah. But you tip a little bit, but in fairness, I will say the service industry in America is outrageously good compared to most places, I think, especially Ireland. Now that I go back, if you go to an expensive restaurant, it's half the price though. Like you can go to a real good like Michelin star restaurant in Ireland, it'd be half the price as it is in New York, but the service it suffers a bit because they're not desperate there to. That's my opinion. I
mean, in China, the thing that was nice, like in the U.S., if your waiter hasn't been coming around, it's not seen as socially acceptable to just be like, waiter, hey waiter, can you come over here? But in China, that's what you're supposed to do if you need help. So like if you're at a restaurant in China, everyone's just going, for what you want? And that was kind of nice. Just knowing, hey, if you need something, just yell for a waiter.
Yeah, it's like you go to the dim sum places in New York, like in the mornings like that. They're just screaming, screaming at them. And you're like, excuse me. Yeah, it's sick. So yeah, you got the Ireland locked up. What would you have like a goal, like a real goal of a place that you'd like to do? Like I've never done South America. That's like definitely something I'd like to do. Obviously, I want to go back to Asia. That would be great. China, I'd love to. There's so much of the world I just haven't seen. It's crazy.
China recently reopened their borders, so I'm trying to go back there because I never got to say goodbye in the first place. I came home for Christmas, COVID broke out, and then they were like, I was like, all right, maybe not the best time to go back to China, and then they closed the borders.
Did you have all your shit just in some little apartment?
all my shit was in China. It got shipped back to the U.S. like 4 months later.
Okay.
So yeah, I'd like to go back now that borders have finally reopened. I've never been to India.
Go to Wuhan. Check it out. Go investigate.
I went to Wuhan once, way back in the day.
Did you?
Yes.
Did it seem? What?
I mean,
did it seem?
It seemed.
A lot of people eating bats, was there?
I didn't see anyone eating bat soup.
You ever hear of bat soup?
The place was kind of a dump. It was probably one of my least favorite Chinese cities. I was there, believe it or not. Have you ever heard of the sport of slam ball?
Yeah. No.
Slam ball is like basketball on trampolines, and it used to be on TV in the US.
I know it, yeah.
And then they I think they canceled the league in the US because too many people were breaking their neck or something like that. And then the person who founded the sport was like, maybe I can get it to take off in China. So he like moved out to China, and then they had like a slam ball clinic in Wuhan.
Wow.
And so I was talking to those guys, and that's the reason I went to Wuhan, was just to play slam ball for a day.
It does look like a lot of fucking fun.
Yeah.
The only problem is like you're going to land, and if you don't land exactly right, you're fucked.
Yeah.
But that does seem like a lot of fun to be.
Like, yeah, because like you're literally above the net, so like you could like break your neck on the net.
There used to be a sport in Brazil, and I'm pretty sure it was Brazil, and I think it was car soccer, where they played in a huge stadium, and they would drive around in cars, and they had this huge big soccer ball, and your goal was to pretty much just play soccer.
Okay, that's
it was interesting.
Video game now. What's that called? Yeah, Rocket something.
Yeah, Rocket League. There was a real life.
There was a real life Rocket League.
There was a real life Rocket League in Brazil in the 70s, and they would have different cars for different players. So they had the Volkswagen Beetles as the wingers, because when your hood hit the ball would go high.
Oh yeah.
And then the defense was like vans.
It's called Autoball.
Autoball?
Autoball.
Yeah, that's the type of, but I think they got rid of it because everyone kept crashing and dying. Mm-hmm. But pretty sick. Sick.
That's awesome. I'm gonna put that on the list, unless it's like just no one plays anymore.
I think if you get paid to travel and you just document, like, there's a reason so many people want to try to do it too. But it does seem like top job in the world, right? Getting paid to go all over the world. You make videos. You're encouraged to go to New Guinea. Get an arrow to the
Papua
chest.
New Guinea.
Try to spread the word of the Christ.
Yeah, I'm not going to do any missionary work over there, but I would go to Papua New Guinea.
Yeah, go to the
place pops off.
Depths of the Amazon, things like that.
That would be cool. I do want to try toad venom. I guess
toad
venom. Or not toad. Yeah, toad
like
venom.
To get high. Licking a frog.
Yeah,
get high.
Yeah, it's like a certain type of psychedelic.
Yes,
I'd be willing to go to the Amazon and try some.
Yeah. Have you done ayahuasca?
No, I haven't. I think that would be so weird to film. I feel like I would consider doing it, but it'd just be like being on camera for that process. I don't know.
I agree. There is a part of it, even when I'm high, if I have a camera involved, I'm like, what are you doing? Because like you get into that like technology sharing your thing, you get in the social media stuff, but hallucinogenics and recording yourself can be a bit nuts. You just did some sort of hallucinogenic honey, right?
That's what they call it. Yeah, they called it.
Seemed like it just poisoned you.
Yes, it did. It did.
Seemed like it wasn't like
it was
in
not
any way.
hallucinogenic at all. Oh my god!
It was just a poison.
Well, I mean, it was psychoactive for sure. Like it was more of a body high. I just got this crazy like cooling sensation that was moving up and down my body. Kind of felt like I was taking a bath in icy hot or something like that.
Yeah, okay.
It would be like cold, hot, and I don't know. It had no effect like on my brain. I was not seeing shit. But then it got to the point where I could barely walk, and like I got to go to the bathroom, collapsed, and I was blowing chunks for a good like 5 hours. Like I literally asked my cameraman, like, I think we should call the hospital.
Yeah, you did. And what did he say? Nah, you're being a pussy. What did he say? He goes, no, keep it for the gram, dude.
He did not call the hospital.
Great way to die. For content.
Yeah, it was
Dave
the thing.
Portnoy,
like,
what would Dave Portnoy want you to do? He would want you to die.
I know that was 100%. Like,
be honest,
a full-on content move because I took 2 spoonfuls of the honey.
Yeah,
I waited an hour and I was like, I'm not feeling anything. This video is gonna suck. And then just for content purposes, I was like, maybe one more will kind of tip me over the edge, and one more was one too many.
Have you ever done peyote?
No, I haven't.
Can you Google? Let's see. Let's just on a whim. Let's book a trip to, because I'm pretty sure there's Native American reservations in like Nevada or Oklahoma where you can go and they do like a retreat and you can do peyote.
Yeah. So it's part of the Native American religion, or it's called like the Church of Native America. And if you're a member of that church, it's legal to do peyote.
Okay.
But there's 2 different types of peyote. One comes from...
So you've done your research on this, yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
I recently read a book where they were talking about it a lot. There's 2 different types. One is from a cactus that's actually very scarce these days because it takes like 30 years to mature.
The actual peyote one, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So the peyote cactus is like scarce. And also, I think the Native American church frowns upon just like random dudes like showing up for one of their rituals.
Nah, we're getting fucked up.
No, you gotta be a full-on member.
Okay.
But then there's another cactus called San Pedro.
Yes.
Which has
and you can get those
mescaline
seeds.
in it.
Someone hit me up. I was talking about this on podcast. Someone hit me up and they were like, you can just get these seeds online. You could grow them yourself.
Yeah. So
which I guess, yeah, fun.
If you want to do some San Pedro, I'd be down.
Absolutely. But I'd like to make it like we go somewhere. We go to the desert. We make it like a thing out of it.
Yeah.
I don't want to just do it in Queens in my living room.
Yeah.
Which I've done loads of drugs like that. But if we should, let's just do it. Let's make some content out of our dealing with our demons.
But I do think the Native American church, because that one type of peyote or the actual peyote cactus is so scarce that they like don't want like all these white dudes showing up being like, oh, I want to do mescaline too.
Yeah. Because I've done shrooms, acid, DMT. I'd like to do the ayahuasca.
DMT, wow.
Yeah,
how's that?
I've done loads of DMT.
Really?
Last time I did it was pretty rough. It's funny. I just the photos just popped up on my phone.
Yeah.
Because last time I did DMT, you got to get you get like a crack pipe. So you got to go to like bodegas and be like, "Can I have a crack pipe?" And they're like, "No." And you go, and he goes, "Okay." And they bring out the crack pipe because it's illegal to sell crack pipes. And then you burn it in there, and it's like the problem with the DMT is it's like hard to get yourself physically. You got to breathe in deep. You got to hold it. You can breathe, and then your body's like telling you stop, and then you got to do it again. Like it's hard to force yourself. It's almost like you're drowning yourself in the smoke to blast off. Because if you pull the plug too early, you kind of just sort of phase out. You don't get the Because everyone says there's like levels to how far you can break through. You can get a little bit high off it. You can go into like another sort of a realm, but then there's like an area in there where you go through that, and that's when you go. That's when you're like, you're everything and nothing. Time is everything. It's like it's long, it's short. You're happy, you're sad. It's just you can't even explain it in human language. It feels like you transcend the consciousness of this. It's fucking nuts. But the last time I did it, what happens is like a dream, right? You wake up and you remember it then, but then as the day goes on, you start to forget the details of your dream. So people recommend like record yourself so then you can talk to what you saw immediately because you're gonna forget it.
Okay.
Also, what crazy happened with DMT, it's like a video game where you do it 1 year you'll go somewhere or whatever in this whatever consciousness. When you do it a year later, you go straight back to where you are. It's like loading a video game where you start off, right? You don't go somewhere new. You start off exactly where you are at the end of that video. And it is a very much like these godlike things are like, welcome back. And you're like, whoa.
Yeah. The crazy thing is that a lot of people have the same story from their DMT experiences about like seeing the same beings.
I think Terrence McKenna, who did a lot of that stuff, he I think he called them elves or something. He called them the magic elves or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah, because the first time I did it, I went face to face with my own mortality kind of, and I was talking to God, and it was lots of people, but also one person at the same time, if that even makes sense. It was both. And I remember meeting this higher power, and I remember being so scared. I was horrified, like, and I said, "Oh, I've got nothing to ask you." Because it's like, I'm face to face with God. You think you're going to have a question.
Yeah.
And I said, I've got nothing to ask you. And then that person, the thing just said, that's totally fine. And then they there was like this, it's all these crazy colors. They kind of did like and I went through that cunt's mouth, and I went I flew into the universe. And it's like a million kaleidoscopy fucking stuff. And there's music playing. And it's like, boop, every time I hear that music now, still I get kind of trippy. But that was it. That was great because it was sexless too. It wasn't there was no gender. It's hard to even describe. There was one person and 100 people all at once, the same time. So you couldn't, and the colors were nuts. But that was it. I felt so scared, and I just suddenly, when they said that's fine, it went, whoosh, and I was like, and then you come up, you're like, ah!
Wow.
Yeah, it's fun. But the last time I did it, the problem was I came out of it. I came out of it and I just felt shitty. And then I just started crying. And I cried for a half an hour straight. So there's a video of me I don't know where it is, but there's a video of me where I'm off for 15 minutes. I wake up and I go, whew, I saw this thing. And I was like, I don't feel good about myself or something. And then I just started crying, and I could not stop. So there's a video of me just crying on camera for 30 minutes.
Who was filming you cry?
No, I had my laptop open and I had the camera. I was on my own.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just there going, so I have these photos on my phone of just me covered in tears. It was like not a fun trip at all. There was probably some deep psychological stuff where maybe like I needed to cry.
After you cried for a half hour, did you feel like spiritually cleansed?
No, not at all. I still feel pretty gay about it. I still feel like a bitch. Pretty pussy of the whole situation. Yeah. I let myself down. I let my friends down. I want to apologize. But, that was probably me holding on to some shit,
Yeah.
But again, another thing is when I was younger doing hallucinogenics, I don't know if you did this, I remember getting big moments from hallucinogenics, like epiphanies, if I'm saying that word correctly. But then what would happen is I'd do hallucinogenics and I would almost like look for that stuff. And that's when I had to learn. I was like, you can't go in there like, this is what you want. I want these big things happen. It either happens or it doesn't happen. Because I remember coming out of them going, oh, it was fun, but I didn't have that moment.
And you don't have to. Like
that's exactly, yeah. Sometimes you can just be just fun, just enjoying the vibe. Yeah. So let's go do peyote or San Diego, whatever it was
mescaline,
called.
which is,
Yes, let's go do some mescaline. Figure it out. We'll get a fucking whole squad of the Barstool boys come out with us too. Okay. We have Sass. Imagine Sass on shrooms even.
Yeah, I don't know if Sass would do it.
He could not.
No.
He can barely handle oxygen. He is fucked.
Yeah.
If he was to do shrooms, he would be a menace.
No, yeah. I remember he always used to panic. He was like, I think I took too much melatonin. He used to always tweet like, I may have just overdosed on melatonin. It would just be like super anxious about that. So
yeah, he's a nut job.
Yeah,
for sure.
I don't know if mescaline is the right drug for him.
But that's why he's so funny, because he's got the personality of like a 58-year-old neurotic Jew. And he's 12 years old. Like he talks to you like his wife left him and took the kids. Like he's like, you're 24 in New York. You should be happy.
Yeah. I can see that.
So that would be fun to do some of them drugs. And then Africa. Have you been around to Africa? Other than the Zimbabwe, was it?
Botswana. And then I did a series in Zimbabwe. Za is a production guy who works at Barstool, and he's from Zimbabwe. So we just pitched like doing a series of me going back to his family's place.
Wow.
And then one of his cousin-in-laws like was our tour guide, took us around the whole country. That was sweet.
That's wild. Yeah, it's such a. I think everyone kind of has a dream of like someday if they ever get the opportunity, like I'll make a travel show because then you just get to go. But
Well,
it might be tough.
And that's what happens now. Like every year, there's like new random ass celebs who have a travel show.
Yeah.
And like they're a lot of the times they suck.
Yeah, of course.
But it's just because they're famous from doing some other show that they can just
it's
like.
pretty much just look at me on vacation. Yeah.
Yeah, they can find a producer in Hollywood and be like, let's do a travel show.
Yeah. Or then you do the Bourdain thing. It's also of all the sleepy towns in all of America.
Yeah.
I found it.
Who has a travel show now? That Levy guy? Gordon Levy? No.
I don't know.
The guy from 40-Year-Old Virgin and
I don't know. I'm not sure.
yeah.
But the
Eugene Levy.
Yeah. Eugene Levy. Yeah. He has a travel show.
is that the guy from The Office?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean I guess it's hard work when you come home because
Schitt's Creek.
I'm very, yeah, so I'm very hands on with the content. So you know, a lot of long days on the laptop putting the videos together.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's 100% worth it to
Yeah,
be able
absolutely.
to travel. Yeah,
Yeah, I remember once we were in Chiang Mai, northern Thailand, and we went on like a weekend hike thing. And you know, you hike up a mountain and then you sleep in this little village. There's
Yeah.
2 nights of sleeping in villages. One of the nights there was like they killed a pig. Actually, it was pretty sick.
Nice.
Sorry, Dave Portnoy.
yeah.
Sorry, someone had to survive on pig, Dave Portnoy. But there was like I don't know, someone was getting married or whatever, and they grabbed the pig out of the pen that they had, and they put him in a bag, and you hear the pig going screaming for its life. It was cool as hell.
Yeah,
it was
I think-
cool to see this tiny little village, not even a village, like just one house in the asshole of nowhere in Thailand, kill a pig.
And I'm sure that pig tasted incredible.
I'd say it was the best pig you've ever eaten in your life.
Yeah.
I've heard of that before, where people bazooka a cow.
Yes.
Did you ever hear the legend of the
went to
bazooka?
that place.
You went to bazooka a cow?
No, so I didn't bazooka a cat. They
Okay.
That was
Dave
but,
won't like.
but
yeah.
I did.
You didn't
shoot
bazooka
a
the
bazooka.
cow.
I did shoot a bazooka at that same place, and like I think if you're willing to pay an extra $500, they'll be like, we'll trot out a cow for you, and you can just blow that.
This
up.
is the legend of the Thailand. So
So that was in Cambodia.
okay, yes,
Yeah.
yeah. So the legend is you can go there, you pay money. They've got all these old military equipment, and you can go bazooka. You can just shoot a bazooka in the thing, which you did. Now,
Yeah.
you can, like at any gun range, you can pay for different targets. Over there, you can get a live animal,
Yes.
and you blow a fucking cow up to smithereens.
Oh my god.
Hell yeah!
Would you do that?
No,
Yeah.
probably. I'd rather be the guy who did it than the guy who didn't do it. There's only so many options to get.
Well, I mean, I got to shoot a propane tank, which that was cool because it like explodes. There's a big explosion. But I mean, shooting a cow would just be.
What about an informant? What if I get like a government and like a whistleblower? How about we do that?
Snowden.
A traitor? A traitor to the great country? Yeah, that'd be fun. Well, I heard you can Uzi a bunch of chickens. That's another one.
Uzi a chicken?
You get an Uzi and there's just like a cage full of chickens. So you just go in and fucking take them out.
I have chopped off a chicken's head.
What?
Because that's when I was. Yes. That's when I was doing one of the homestays in Africa, and
Okay.
every night the homestay daughter I was with, who was maybe 7 years old, she would chop off the chicken's head, and then the mom would prepare it. And then one day they were like, "All right, it's your turn to kill the chicken." And I was like, "All right, I eat a lot of fucking chicken. I should have the balls to kill one." Especially
absolutely.
seeing this 7-year-old girl's been killing the chicken for the last 4 nights. So they just held it on a table, and I did think it was just going to be a chop, but they were like, "Oh no, you have to like saw it off."
You got to saw it off?
Yeah, so I had to be like,
It was a little
And then-
tougher than you thought?
and then it moves around for a solid like
Yeah.
10 seconds afterwards.
Little headless chicken, huh?
Yeah,
Wow. So she was a little badass, a little
yeah.
7-year-old chopping
Would
off
you
chicken's head.
would you chop off a chicken head?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
You kidding me? If I'm gonna eat it, you gotta justify the killing of it.
Yeah, I know some people.
I'm glad it's removed from my day-to-day life.
Yeah. I know like there are some people, they won't even eat like meat off the bone because they're like, I don't want to know it's an animal. And so they'll only
That's
have
crazy.
boneless wings. And it's like, all right, maybe you should actually be a vegan.
Yeah, but bone-in wings are so much better, surely. Boneless wings are kind of shit, I think.
Yeah, no, I prefer
Hot take.
bone in.
We're about to get I'm sure you do.
Yeah.
That was a gay joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you could bazooka. So this is the legend of one of the bazookas of the cow things.
Yeah.
Urban myth at this point, but there was a guy, he went there, he paid for the cow, goes to the bazooka the cow, has a change of heart, can't bring himself to blow up a cow, and then he goes, what can I do? And they go, oh, well, you already paid for the cow. It's your cow. So then he was like, all right. So he walked the cow down to like the local neighborhood and was like, here, have the cow.
That's a huge gift.
And they were like, what? So yeah, Big Momo or whatever they call him, the white guy, gringo. They were like, you're the best. So they let him stay in the village, and they killed the cow. And immediately killed the cow straight away.
But I'm sure they humanely killed it.
Nah, they suffocated.
I don't know. I mean, if you were going to be killed, would you rather have your throat slit or be bazookaed?
Bazooka.
Yeah, I think I might.
Absolutely. That's how I'm going to go.
Yeah, I think
suicide by bazooka. The first hour of suicide. I miss and just blew my roof off.
Yeah.
just lands in a school a mile away.
What would that? I don't even know how that would.
But apparently they made a big festival for this guy. They were like, look at this savior. He's like Santa Claus shows up with a cow.
I mean, a cow is a big gift.
Yeah, for sure.
A cow can feed a village.
Yeah, I think, there's a thing, and we've seen it. I don't know if you've ever seen them. You get to go up in like an Apache helicopter in Texas.
Oh, yeah, I've seen people do that.
AK-47, a bunch of wild hogs,
feral
feral hogs.
I would consider doing that. I guess they're
they have to kill
invasive spirit.
Yeah, the problem is they're killing the crops, so they have to kill them anyway. So
Yeah.
you might as well put on some cool shades, get up in a chopper, dun da da dun 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 da da dun dun.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I know. I think the girl for like who does Barstool Outdoors did that a few times.
She did?
Yeah.
I don't know which one that one is. Interesting.
Yeah.
So there's so much stuff to get out there and do it, huh?
Yeah. No, I mean, South America is. I've been to Colombia, but I haven't been south of that. I would love to go to Peru.
What is there good cocaine in Colombia?
I'm sure there is. Not that I found.
You didn't hear of anyone?
Yeah, I did get strip searched by a cop who thought I was hiding cocaine on me.
It's just yeah.
I got ratted out by like a.
If you were wearing that shirt in
6-year-old.
Colombia, you look like a guy who's looking for coke.
No, there was like a 5-year-old, no, he's probably 6, selling bracelets on the street, and I'm waiting in line to go into a bar, and he points at me. He points at my nose. I guess he thought I had a coke booger in my nose.
Oh my god!
And was like, I see your nose. You pay me $400 or I'm going to call the cops. And I was like, all right, I'm not about to get extorted by this 6-year-old kid. So I thought nothing of it. And I was just waiting in line. And lo and behold, 10 minutes later, a cop comes, takes me into a public restroom, makes me drop my pants and then drop my boxers too. I just had to cut my balls and like show him that like I was not hiding any cocaine under my balls.
Wow.
Because he was really hoping he would find cocaine on me, because then he'd be able to get like a $500 bribe. Like,
is that what it is? Is they catch you doing, and then he's
yeah,
okay.
like he wasn't trying to bring me to jail, but they just know if they can catch any foreigner there with some money, they can be like, hey, listen, you're looking at 10 years in jail, or you can just pay me $500.
I would love to do pure, authentic, uncut cocaine. You gotta try that.
Yeah,
that's
yes.
like bazooking. Like it's like the equivalent of blowing up a cow. It's like culturally insensitive to like that pure, uncut, real cocaine that drove people insane in the 80s. Pretty much created the great country of America.
That's probably the
banking
healthiest.
system.
That's the healthiest cocaine too.
Not this fentanyl bullshit powder stuff. Yeah. Let's do that. Let's go to Colombia, get some uncut cocaine. Another vlog. That's 2 vlogs.
I know in Colombia they used to have narco tourism where you could sign up for this trip where I think they blindfold you first, take you to the middle of the jungle, and then you get to see how the cocaine is made. Like they harvest the leaves and then they show you like how they like turn the leaves into the white powder.
Nice.
Yeah.
Let's do drugs. Let's get ourselves fucked up. Yeah, that's sick. I wonder what it's like. Because you do coke, it's just like mostly it's just speed or whatever. You know, they give you whatever, but like the actual original goes straight to the source, the real stuff, the good stuff.
I had a friend being like, "Oh, dude, I was down in Colombia and the coke I did was so good. Like, I fell asleep. He was like, it was that good. I just like immediately fell asleep. That's how good it is. And I was like, all right.
I think he did heroin.
Or he was just like, it's so like pure. So you're not like jittery. Like you're not like,
Of course. Yeah, I would like to be addicted to Uncle Cocaine. Not bad, crappy.
Yeah. Well, I know the people down in Peru and Patagonia who climb the really tall mountains, they constantly chew the cocoa leaf. Yeah. I don't know how it helps, but it helps deal with the altitude.
Yeah, nice.
So I don't know if like doing cocaine helps deal with the altitude as well. Like, I think someone should try to climb Mount Everest on cocaine.
Yeah.
That'd be cool to say you're the first one to do it.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm sure someone probably has.
Yeah, they just weren't bragging about it.
Yeah.
You think Bear Grylls is on coke all the time?
Do you think so?
No.
Okay.
I think he's just a psychopath, you know?
Okay, yeah.
A friend of mine, she works in PR. She was with Bear Grylls. He's promoting whatever show. And they're in New York. And they're doing the rounds from the stations. And then, so they finish an interview and they got to get across Central Park. That's the thing. And they're like, we're waiting on the car to pick us up. And he's like, don't worry about it. We'll just walk. Let's just walk. It's a great day. And they're like, all right. And then so he brings him through Central Park. And he just starts cutting through the parts you're not supposed to be in. Like he just walks through he's like walking through the dirt and through the bushes and climbing around. He's like, look at this. It's this type of tree and all this type of stuff. And meanwhile, these girls are like all in like high heels. They're in like business attire. They're sweating. Okay. They're getting twigs and poison ivy. And he's just like, oh, what a great little trip this is, you know? So he seems like he's just like that all the time.
Yes.
He's just constantly eating kangaroo balls and shit just all day. You don't need to survive on the kangaroo dick anymore, Bear. We got Shake Shack.
Kangaroos, I think it's like one of the healthiest meats you can eat.
I've heard that. High protein steak, right? And it's like they're like vermin over there. They're like rats.
Mm-hmm. I would like to do a survival show, but the whole concept would be like it's being hosted by a guy with zero survival skills. I feel like that could work.
One episode.
Yeah, like they'd be like, okay, this helicopter's going to drop me off in the wilderness, but I would have some sort of button that I could hit when I'm like, all right, abort.
Yeah, of course.
But until then, just try to just like act like I know everything.
Well, I follow
see how long I could last.
There's a lot of these YouTubers. There's a guy I watch called Youngbloods. He's in Australia. He's in the outback of Australia. Beautiful. It's like the best YouTube show probably going because he lives tropical paradise, like beautifully crystal blue waters. He hunts. So he puts like the GoPro on his head. So it's like almost like a video game. He's swimming under the water and he has like a harpoon and he's trying to catch fish. Yeah. Then he cooks the fish and teaches you how to cook them. And he's teaching you about the stuff and the shots are incredible. His whole life is just amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that guy fucking rules. But they do these things where it's like 24 hours surviving just off the land and like they're trying to like, catch crab and all that type of stuff. But when Bear Grylls did Ireland, Bear Grylls did an episode in Ireland off the cliffs of the west coast of Ireland. And he's like, one of the harshest terrains in all of the world. And there's like a pub beside him. There's like a bunch of guys having a smoke outside the pub going, what are you doing, Bear? And he's like, how will I get out of this marsh? There's like literally a road right beside him the whole time.
Yeah, like what's the wildest part of Ireland?
That's what he says is like it's...
The cliffs and more?
Yeah, but like, we live everywhere. It's not like...
Yeah.
Do you know I just found out there's fucking wild kangaroos in Ireland? That's something. Yeah, wallabies. So kangaroos, there's a smaller version of kangaroo, wallaby.
Yeah, I've heard of those.
All the same type of bullshit.
Marsupials.
Yes.
Yes.
Jumpy taily guys. And there's a little island off of Ireland where someone released them on this tiny little deserted island, and now they just have a wild population. They've been there since the 50s, and then the zoo got overrun by kangaroos too and dumped a bunch of them out there. Are you reading this?
It's like Wallaby Island?
The island is called Lambay off the coast of County Dublin. It's home to Ireland's wild mob of wallabies.
That's crazy that they have that. And I've never heard that in my life. I thought it was a prank. I saw it online. I was like, this can't be real.
Yeah, that reminds me of Pablo Escobar's cocaine hippos down in Colombia.
Yes, you're right. Yeah. Just a shit version of that. Yeah,
very shit version.
Just with these little kangaroos on an island. Yeah.
Now, if they were cocaine wallabies, that'd be a little cooler.
That'd be fucking solid. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so funny the way people introduce them. And those hippos are running amok over there, aren't they?
Yeah.
Don't they hear that?
I got to see some.
You did?
Yes, but
Oh.
they weren't the wild ones, because there are some wild ones that will like run across the field of like a kid's soccer game. But these were the ones that no, there actually is a bit. It's like a hippo
blow it up, hippo break.
But yeah, these are the ones that they still had corralled. But now that people think there's like 10,000 or something.
Yeah. Well, that's the same with most animals in America. They all just got introduced, right? And then they got released from the wild. Like, I'd love to see that. Some of the wild horses out in like Montana or whatever, the stallions. Yeah, there's a bunch of them out there, right? They're just like running.
Is there? Yeah.
There's a bunch of wild horses running around.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Like out in like the. Yeah, that'd be pretty sick too. Yeah.
When I went to the Cliffs of Moher, I actually hiked down to the bottom and took a swim. It was probably
You did?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
It was nice. I mean, I was there on like a bright, warm,
Nice. If you got lucky with the
sunny
weather,
day.
yeah. I'm telling Ireland is, you feel it in New York, you know, like the summer is a different city than in the winter. Just like everyone's having fun out drinking. But Ireland's like that. We only have 4 or 5 days of good weather. And when you get them, it might be, Dublin is like the best city in the world, I think.
Okay,
on like a random Wednesday where it hits 80 degrees, everyone finishes work early. They all go to the pubs. They're all sitting outside. You're allowed to drink on the streets.
Yeah.
So everyone's just sitting outside, boozing. Everyone's playing music. Traffic is better. Like, everyone's stuck in traffic, but you're just like having fun. The windows are open. Everyone's singing. What a vibe.
Yeah.
Because
Sounds awesome.
it's 358 days of rain. And then we get that little break. And we fucking party like animals. Yeah. So I hope you get some good weather for the wedding.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, when it rains, will it just rain all day, or will it be like heavy rain for a couple hours and then?
I don't know. Yeah, it
We'll
depends.
see.
I guess it depends. Yeah. It's just doom and gloomy. It's a very gloomy, grey fucking place.
Yeah, it's beautiful though.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
What prompted you to move to the U.S.?
I just I visited New York when I was younger, and I
Okay.
loved it. And then when I finished college, I knew I didn't want to. I wanted to just go do stuff,
Yes.
and I had the opportunity to get a visa
Nice.
at the time. So I was like, when you graduate in Ireland, you got a year. You can get a visa to America. If you can find a job in your degree, you know.
Oh,
so I was
okay.
like, if you don't use it within the year, though, it expires. So I was like, I might as well do it now.
Yeah.
And then I just never left, and here I am, the king of New York. I would say. No one else would say. Yeah.
I visited the highest Irish pub in the world while I was
Johnny Fox's.
No.
Oh, it's not. Damn it! I thought it was called Johnny Fox's.
No, this was just called Irish Pub, and it was in Namsha Bazaar, like 11,300 feet. They like online it says it's the highest Irish pub in the world,
Yeah,
which I think so.
that's pretty interesting too. Because I was thinking of doing that here, like the most eastern pub. Because you got the place down in Key West, which is the most southern pub in the United States, and you can go somewhere.
Oh, okay.
Somewhere in Maine, they have a joint, some dump, some asshole in the middle. What?
Is it Bar Harbor? Yeah.
Bar Harbor's the most eastern spot.
One of the most, yeah.
Yeah. So that's another vlog that I could do.
There you go.
Go check out these pubs. Yeah. So what do you see yourself doing with the rest of the travel? Back to China.
Yeah, in the fall I would love to get back there.
And what did you say the worst race was? What did you ever get to the I thought I might have interrupted you. We never. Worst country.
Yeah, I mean, no, we only decided on my worst trip was Moscow. But
Moscow, yeah.
that was the middle of the winter.
Boo,
I had,
boo Russia.
Yeah.
Putin. Boo.
I mean, no, there's a lot of great Russian people out there.
Did you ever watch the guy Bald and Bankrupt?
I have seen some videos
That guy's
of him.
funny, yeah. Do you know him? The English guy? He got kicked out of Russia. They kicked him out. He said something about the government, and they literally arrested him and dropped him off.
Hey, being kicked out of the country is a lot better than being locked up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Imagine some of those Russian gangsters all covered in shit tattoos beating the fuck out of you. Wow.
Yeah. Russian prison scares me a lot more than Chinese prison because, like, I knew some people who went to Chinese jail for, like, 10 days. One guy was there for, like, 2 months.
What did he do?
And I was like, how was it? And, like, it didn't seem horrific. It just seemed, like, mind-numbingly boring.
Really?
But he wasn't getting the shit beat out of him or anything like that. But he said he had a newspaper. Like there was one newspaper written in English, and each day he would read an article. And then like one day, one of the guards like took the paper and threw it out the window. So then he just had nothing to pass the time.
Wow.
And you're just in like a room of 10 people, one toilet with one toilet in the middle, so you're all sharing that.
Yeah.
It didn't seem pleasant by any means.
No.
But just if I had to pick between a Russian jail or a Chinese jail.
Yeah. I remember there's a lot of books. It seems a thing is when you get arrested in a foreign prison, people write books about their experience because it's like an interesting thing to have just some idiot from England who get caught up in some sort of a drug mule or framed.
Yeah.
I remember, but when I was in Thailand, I read a bunch of those books, so I was just scared shitless the entire time, just like because someone got framed for drugs, got put in a Thailand prison, Bangkok prison, and it was brutal.
Yeah,
brutal. There was one guy who was like he was like a white guy from Australia, and he was like a kickboxer or something like that. So he was like one of the toughest guys in the prison, and he had a pet cat somehow. The guy had a pet cat, and people were always like trying to get the cat off him, and he would just like beat them up. And it was like this was his little cat. And then one day he went to a shower or something, and he came back out of the shower, and all the other prisoners had eaten the cat.
Holy
They
shit.
had killed the cat and eaten the cat. And then apparently the guy, it was like losing his son. Like the guy went through like a mental episode.
Is that the guy who would like kickbox his way to freedom? Because I've also heard I think
Claude Van Damme, is that a movie I've never seen? Kicking My Way to Freedom?
They did make it into a movie.
Wow.
And apparently it's based on a true story.
No, I don't know about that one.
British dude got thrown in Thai jail, and like they had a kickboxing like league within the jail, and they were like, if you win the league, like we'll let you go.
That's incredible. I thought that was like just a fake movie.
I mean, it sounds very fake. I should probably confirm.
But those books, yeah. Huh? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So obviously just follow your stuff on Instagram, on YouTube.
Yeah.
And else you want to get the guys to follow you?
Yeah, I'm gonna be dropping new videos from my Mount Everest base camp trek every Wednesday evening. So tune in for those.
And where do they get them?
On the Wonton Don YouTube page, Wonton Don on Instagram, and Donnie Does World on Twitter, and the Wonton Don on TikTok.
Nice. We'll follow the stuff. I'm going to be following you. Be jealous while you travel the world and I do nothing. Okay. We always end up the podcast with questions from the Patreon. So if you guys want to get your questions read, head up to patreon.com/Colum Tyrrell, where you can ask us some questions, some advice, whatever you want it to be. And we'll do our best to read them on the podcast. You also get this episode 5 days early, ad-free, uncensored. And then you get a bonus episode. So do that. Please support me. I'm broke and I need your love. Okay, David Caggiano. And don't forget to follow David Caggiano, one of the hottest rising stand-up comedians in this room.
All right. So this question comes from Jeff Hess. Collie and Wonton Don need your help. My girl and I have been together since high school, and now we're 30. We bought a place, and we're happy, and I suppose I love her. But in the past 6 to 7 years, she went from being objectively hot to fat. Not H. Foley level, but she's probably pushing 2 bills. I can't leave at this point, but I can't have wedding photos where it looks like she's my beard. Do you know how I dose someone with Ozempic without their knowledge? Or what do I do?
Great question. What was his name? Jeff?
Jeff Hess. Good question.
Thank you, Jeff Hess, which I feel is actually just Dave. Dave just said that off the top of his head. Dave was like, "This is a question from Jeff Hess." I think this is a dilemma that all men must face at some point regularly. Don, please.
Yeah, I mean, he goes, "I guess I love her," or something like that. So I mean, like,
classic.
Why is he saying like I can't leave at this point? It sounds like he's not very committed to this.
They said they bought a house. They bought a house together. Is that what he said?
Yeah.
I get this. Stick together for the admin. But Look, if you're,
I guess he's just like, what do I do? You know, she's gaining weight.
Women are gonna gain weight, and it's just one of the cruel tragedies of the world, and you just got to deal with it.
Yeah,
you got to just be a big boy and cheat.
I think he should get fat too.
Some people like a little pushing for the cushion.
Yeah, is he black?
So Jeff Hess doesn't sound it.
That's
yes, but some people like big women.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It seems like he doesn't like it. He doesn't like that. She's touching
Yeah.
2 bills.
Yeah.
Two hundos is too much. You should have had words at 100.
In parentheses, he
I
says
think-
she's tall.
Did he say that?
But so he's worried about the wedding photos. I do think a lot of girls wait until after the wedding to put on all the weight. So like
There you go.
maybe he could just say like, hey, don't you want to look slim in the wedding photos? You know, because I think
Yeah. The thing is, if you can afford it, I think what you got to do is go, hey, we got to look good. Well, here's one thing about you just go,
say
hey, we got to look good for the wedding photos. That's one thing we have to do.
Yeah.
And I love you, baby, but I'm paying for a personal trainer. We're getting rid of the Oreos. Figure your shit out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Baby,
I think
you've gotten fat,
that's
baby.
a solid answer. If he just but he just has to keep on framing it as we. So then maybe
Yeah.
if they get a personal trainer for both of them, and then he just keeps on framing it as it's like, yeah, we're going to be doing this together, when really it's just
Look,
a way to get her in
women
the
would
gym.
say to you, they would like you to actually turn around to them and say, hey, women want your feedback. This is what they say. They want you to
Yes.
turn around to them and go, I like when you're here down. Or they want you to be like, look, you got to look after your health here. You're a bit of a wobble goblin. I didn't agree to this.
a wobble goblin.
Yes.
It's the first time I've heard that.
TM.
Have you ever heard the phrase? I think it's a British phrase, pantry monster.
No,
That's for
I like it.
it's normally used for like a fat kid.
Yeah,
Well, aren't you a little pantry monster?
that's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a bit of a pantry monster myself.
Yeah.
You get the fucking munchies. You head down, get that caramel popcorn thing.
Yeah.
So that's the advice. Look, here's the problem. We gotta get some broads to answer this question, because
Yeah.
like if you gain weight and you go, look, I don't like the fact that you gain weight, which is I think is a fair thing, right? I think it's fair to be like, yo, girl, you're getting a bit fucking unattractive, and that's not fair, because there's plenty of other options out here. I've been on the Tonight Show. So what, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Jeff, give me this bitch's number, Jeff, for you, and I'll. But again, you can't be like, I would never have the courage to tell a girl that she doesn't look good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what he should do. He should buy a cameo from Colum that just says, hey, you're getting fat.
Hey there, Tubby.
Yeah.
Do you want to save money on a wedding dress? Because at this time, you're going to need like 4 bed sheets stapled together.
Okay. Yeah.
You're going to look like a fucking snowball. We're going to be rolling down the aisle, all right? Are you going to be able to make the walk at this point?
Yeah.
The church music will be dun da da dun 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 da da dun dun.
It'll be played with a tuba, though.
Boom, 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 ba-dum, ba-da-da-da-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum. Yeah, that's fucking funny. Guy, well, good luck out there. I would say just bite your tongue, say nothing. Maybe allude to like, hey, I hired as a personal trainer, so we look good.
Yeah.
We
I
are
like
looking
that.
good for the wedding. Mm-hmm. And I think that's fair. If you don't look good for your wedding, you'll never look good.
Yeah.
Like if like you've got months to prepare, it's easy. You gotta look good for your wedding. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. You're getting married soon. You've been working out. You had to try. You don't care.
So I haven't really been working out, but I have recently lost a lot of weight. But it hasn't been. I'm not like, oh, I'm getting married, I got to shed a lot of weight.
It's just a all around thing.
Yeah, I don't know really what it is. Maybe I just have like a worm.
Fucking hell yeah.
Yeah.
Thyroid disease. That's the best.
Yeah.
Best option. All right, folks. The Colum Tyrrell Podcast. Thank you for listening. Thank you to our guest, Donton Juan. Really liked hearing your stories, man.
Yeah.
I love watching your stuff.
It was a pleasure. I'll have to catch you at the stand again.
Yeah, please do. Thanks, buddy.